Hey guys! Since we're all working from home, I thought I'd make a couple quick videos about how to get the most out of everyday tools you have just lying around the house. I like to call this, oh, so that's what that's for. Oh, that's what that's for. Tape measures. Let's start with the basics. I have a few different tape measures here. I have a 25-foot tape measure, I have a 16-foot tape measure, even have this cute little 6-foot tape measure. Some of them have plastic casings, some of them have metal casings. They generally all function the same, so don't worry if you have a different style at home. If you have a tape measure that doesn't specify its length anywhere on the outside of the case, you should be able to pull it out and see the length within the first few inches. You can also see that this tape measure is in inches at the top, but gives me fractions to the eighths on the bottom and lines to the 1/32. This one gives me inches and centimeters. And this one over here just gives me inches with lines at every 16th inch. Depending on the project, you might want to opt for a measuring tape that gives you different units of measurements. At every 12-inch mark, you'll see a 1-foot indicator. You'll also notice that the number sequence switches from black to red at the top and black at the bottom. The black numbers continue the inch sequence, whereas the red numbers work with the foot indicators. So if you're measuring something, you might say that it is 1 foot 2 inches long or 14 inches long. You might also notice that there's a red square around the 16th inch and a black diamond by the 19.2 inches. These are common construction and engineering measurements. Wall studs are typically found every 16th inch, and I-beams and floor joists are typically found every 19.2 inches apart. So now for some of those features you might not know about. Ever notice a little slot at the end of your measuring tape? It might seem like an odd design choice, but it actually functions as a nail grab. Let's say you're measuring a large flat surface and you don't have anyone on the other end to hold the tape for you. You can use a screw or a nail or even a tack to hold the end of your measuring tape. The nail screw grab can also be used to draw a circle. You could use the nail or screw head to act as the center point. Just make sure to hold the hook end to the screw head and hold your pencil along the measuring tape at your desired radius. Here's another thing that comes in handy. Do you see that little groove at the end of your hook? If you're using the measuring tape and don't have a marking tool on hand, you can press this edge into your workpiece and scratch it back and forth to make a mark. Another thing you might notice is that the metal tip at the end of your measuring tape is a little bit loose and that the first inch of the tape is short. This is not a mistake. The reason for this is to provide what's called a true zero. The first inch of your tape is short by exactly 1/16 of an inch, which is also the thickness of this metal tip. It will extend outward to add 1/16 of a space if you're measuring on the outside of an object, and retract 1/16 inward if you're measuring on the inside of an object to account for that thickness of that tab. Always make sure to pull your tape tight when measuring on the outside and to push it taut when measuring on the inside to get the most accurate reading. When measuring on the inside of an object, you might come across an inside edge that you can't accurately measure if you bend the tape into a 90-degree angle and sort of guess at that exact mark. Very few people realize this, but most measuring tapes print their widths on the back of their cases. So all you need to do is measure all the way to the corner and add that length to the width that's printed on the back of your case.